It happens. Just watch where you're going next time.
Greetings to you. Careful.
Where did you get that new bench? Ours is all creaky, and I keep getting splinters from it.
Nowhere. I made it myself.
You? Don't lie. Where would you have learnt how to do that?
You think it's hard?
Greetings.
Greetings.
Oh, excuse me.
The best wares on the market. Come and take a look.
I'm going to see the Mint Master. May I enter?
Any fool could say that. What do you want from him?
I have an appointment with him.
All right, go ahead then. But don't waste too much of his time.
Glad to see you again.
You have the gall to show me your face again? I'll call the guards.
Hold your horses. I'll come in peace. Actually, I have a little offer for you.
You've come to blackmail me again?
Call it what you like. I need to get into the City Council Assembly. And I reckon you can help me.
The assembly? The one King Sigismund is supposed to attend in person?
Surely you wouldn't deny me a chance to meet the king?
Don't try that on me. This is connected with Ruthard, isn't it? And tell the truth.
I want to know what Sigismund tells the council. I hear it'll be important.
You want to spy? Do you know what you're risking? And what I'd be risking? Forget it.
Have you forgotten I have you over a barrel? If you want to keep your position and your head on your shoulders, you better shape up.
All right, all right. Maybe we can make a deal. If I get you into the council, you'll behave appropriately and you won't betray yourself, or especially me. And that will be the end of our business together.
And how about a few groschen to seal our fruitful relationship?
You're worse than a horse dealer. Have it your way, then. You can get into the council assembly relatively easily. My cook's son will be serving there. He's roughly around your age. Maybe he can be persuaded to let you stand in for him. Although, not everyone would want to give up an opportunity to serve the King of Hungary.
Who's this boy?
Franta's his name. Franta Kulda. He's an idler and a boozer, but he's proved his worth as a waiter. Which reminds me, you'll need his letter of permission to serve in the council. Otherwise, you won't be let inside.
What will I need to work as a waiter there?
Fast feet and good manners, and the livery of a royal waiter.
Excuse me?
Or do you think you can serve the king in a torn shirt and muddy hose?
Well, no. But I never heard about any livery before.
Our usual waiter had a brand new livery made specially for meeting the king. Don't even show up there without it.
Where can I find the cook's boy?
He's supposed to pick up his new clothes at the market today from Master Tailor Schneider. You'll almost certainly run into him there. That is, if he's up and about after his boozing bout. I swear that fellow practically lives at that Tin Hen.
At the what?
That German alehouse, the Iron Eagle. That is Zum Eisernen Adler.
What would work on him? How can I persuade him to give me his job?
Would you like me to give you a letter for him? I told you how to get to the assembly. Now do your part.
I'll be going then. See you at the council.
Just make sure we both come out of it alive.
Excuse me.
Greetings.
A fine day for some fun. Let's take a gander. We've got it all. Quality goods. The best wares on the market. Don't be shy. Come closer and take a look. 2 pots. I've got lots. Have a bowl as well. Sound as a bell.
Fabric, the finest work. I nearly left my fingers on them for buttons. I'll tell you, you won't get work like that just anywhere.
No more than I'd expect after the amount they cost, but they're first class, I have to admit. Thanks, Schneider. I'll gladly recommend you if anyone asks. Greetings. What do you need?
You must be Franta Cooldown.
I am. And who might you be?
I'm Henry. I heard you're supposed to serve at the City Council Assembly.
I am. What's it to you?
Supposing I took the job on for you. You can put your feet up, fill your belly, and I'll do all the work for you.
Look here. It's not like I'm all that keen on it, but it's well paid. Apart from that, it's a bit of a pain in the arse. Them councillors stuffing their faces and guzzling wine, while I run around like a bugger with pitchers so they don't run dry. Why would you want to stick your nose in there?
Linen canvas, the softest linen canvas. Come and buy the
I want to see the king in the flesh.
Why's that?
I heard a lot about him. How he won lots of battles, how he's courageous, just...
And as bad-tempered as the devil. He's got the councillors shitting themselves, fearing what's coming at this assembly. The more I think about it, the happier I am about not having to be there. To begin with, you'll need confirmation that you've worked as a waiter at the council and you're capable of serving even His Majesty. Look here, do you have any idea what's expected of you? Can you tell different wines apart and that?
Of course. Who do you take me for?
All right, no need to get upset. Show the confirmation to the head butler. Tell him I sent you and think up some good excuse, clear?
That makes sense.
And you'll need a waiter's livery. I had a brand new one made. Here it is. I look like a prick in it. Hopefully it'll sit better on you. The main thing is, don't lose it before the assembly or get it covered in shit.
Thanks. I won't disgrace you, I promise.
You'd better not. Take care.
Fruit. Vegetables.
What can you do, sir?
Come and get some
Maybe next time, then.
mushrooms. Call that dog.
Leatherware! Quality strap!
I went to confession yesterday, and that old...
Not your day, eh?
So you end up with
Anything you...
You're always welcome.
That's right.
Apparently, the city council is organising.
Hier ist besser als Gold.
Excuse me.
What would you like?
My body is in need of rest and relaxation.
And what are you interested in, sir?
I'd like a pretty girl to take care of all my needs.
My girls know how to make a fella happy.
What I really need right now is a little taste of paradise.
Great, but it'll cost you.
I'll gladly pay you.
Excellent. You won't regret it, sir.
I didn't know a man could be that flexible. I'd be happy to do that again sometime. Christ! Me.
I better not forget about that council assembly.
Oh, fuck you. I'm telling you.
And I'm telling you, he doesn't stand a chance.
Excuse me.
Franta Cooldown sent me. I'm to stand in for him at the council assembly.
Franta's not coming? What's wrong with him?
He got as drunk as a lord. Totally pie-faced. Then he fell into a ditch, and now he's staggering around the streets, God knows where.
I might have expected. Once, he turned up with a hangover, and as soon as he smelt wine, he threw up all over the chapel door. I told him if that ever happened again, he was for the boot. Oh, well, you'll have to take his place for today. I've no time to find someone else. We can't be without a waiter here, when the king himself will need waiting on. So, let's have a look at you. Have you got Franta's certificate?
Sure. Here it is.
Everything's in order. Now, about your livery. You've got a waiter's cap, a tunic you have. Hose are good. You can put your steel aside in front of the council chamber, along with your other stuff. You won't be needing it anyway. You don't want to be dragging a load if you're running around tables. Everything as it should be. Glad to see it, lad. Do you know what your duties are? For an inexperienced greenhorn like you, it'll be a great responsibility.
Well, I'll happily listen to any advice. I wouldn't want to foul things up.
I should certainly hope not. Now listen. A good waiter should stand in a corner, look willing and ready, and not get in anyone's way. In short, behave as if you're not there. But when one of the gentlemen calls for wine, you run and pour it for him on the double. You'll find the pitchers on a table by the door to the chapel. You take one and go to their table and pour for them. White Tokaib or red monastery wine.
White or red, by the door to the chapel. Got it.
But for Councillor Adam of Zarzhitz, you must not pour at all. When he drinks, he disrupts and makes trouble. So the assembly has to be interrupted, or otherwise it never reaches an end. We can't allow that to happen in the presence of the king.
All right. Sir Adam of Zarzhitz stays dry.
And if the king himself wants wine, you pour for him with lowered eyes. Don't look at him. And the most important thing?
Remember who wants what?
That too, but more importantly, do not disturb the councillors at their work. They have a lot to discuss. And in general, a good waiter has to be invisible, blind, and deaf.
Oh? I thought I had to keep my ears pricked.
Well, yes, but only to what anyone wants from you. No excuses, and provide everything that anyone wants from you. Understood?
What if I make a mess of something, though?
Then I'll see to it that you won't get a job even mopping the floor in the hole in the wall. But I'm sure that's not going to happen. So, are you prepared?
I know everything I need to. I can do it.
Excellent. Put away your things here. It's easier to serve with a lighter load. You can wait in the cubbyhole for the servants.
The city reserves are in urgent need of new weapons. Our current Waffen arsenal is a joke, and on top of that, the army was requisitioning from it. Should the town reserve have worse weapons than any Räuber in the domain?
And don't you skip on me.
What are you getting at, Eldris?
I'm saying that the bandits who freed Hinnick, the Dry Devil,
Monastery
used that thing. That Hackenbücher. Hand cannon. Can you believe it? Where did they get them?
You're the one who should know where they got them, since you're a gunsmith.
Good, sir.
What are you implying, Friedrich? All I'm saying is that
Thank
they
you,
had
waiter.
them, Herrgott. It is eine Schande when outlaws have better weapons than the city garrison. And Herr König surely knows this too.
What is it, Eldris? You smell a deal?
What I smell is that your stubborn heads do not realize what
Hey, waiter,
Schwierigkeiten this is.
pour me some monastery
The
wine.
Dry Devil is running free. There are Raubritter everywhere
That's
in the
not a
region.
good idea, sir.
We have the
This is
army
unbelievable.
bearing down, and you want to defend yourselves with a few rusty halberds.
And who is it you want to fight, exactly? The merciful King Sigismund is providing us with protection,
Waiter,
isn't he?
pour me red
Der
wine.
König and his army will not be here forever.
Shut up! The king can arrive at any moment. What if he heard you?
What then? We're sitting atop the biggest silver heap
Monastery
in the
wine
kingdom,
here.
and we're supposed to
Which
defend
one?
it with
Red
brooms?
and quickly.
You're right, Eldris.
Good,
But
sir.
where can we get the coin for better equipment?
We can always confiscate the property of the king's enemies, nicht wahr?
We are more than familiar with the Yemeli state of our armory. And the king is surely aware of it as well. Maybe if he waived some of the taxes?
The king fears that this town will rise against him. He'll take the arming of the city's militia as a preparation for war.
So you suggest we just wait with arms crossed for the Raubritter to wreak havoc all around?
We can always ask the king to bring order to the realm with his army.
But then the Dörfler will rise up.
I'm afraid I see no solution of the current situation. We shall wait and see what His Majesty thinks about the matter. Maybe we can change his mind. Vielleicht?
I'd like to report to the Honorable Council on the cleanliness of the city and
Waiter,
the state of the
get me
public
white.
baths.
You mean baths
I'd
or
like to
brothels?
oblige, but I'm not allowed.
This is unbelievable.
So, the cleanliness of the city is not what it should be. The current baths in the city fall far short of covering all the citizens' needs.
You're right, More wine,
Jerome.
Master Bailiff.
But a woman named Betty has showed up on Hopbrink. Wants
to repair the baths that used to be there.
I need something from you. There is an item in my study that I confiscated from a female thief. She thought she could wriggle out of it by telling me who the item belongs to.
And what is it?
A silver goblet. She sneaked into Sir Ulrich's house and stole it. No one's noticed the theft yet. But if Ulrich finds out, he'll turn the city upside down to find the culprit. Go and get it. And don't you make a mess there, understand?
Where can I find this goblet?
Use your eyes and come right back with it, understood?
You know what?
So what? Going to the baths is neither a civic duty nor a right.
Have you forgotten the Black Death? A great many people
Can't leave
died
here with the wine,
needlessly.
though.
Are you questioning God's plan? The Black Death had nothing to do with the baths, unless the Lord wishes to punish the wickedness that's going on in there.
Keeping the city clean is important, but we don't have money to spend. Arguing about who is going to wash where and how is a waste of time.
Nice.
It's only a waste of time
Who's
because
silver
we're
like
always
this bitch?
arguing about the same thing.
Not at all. If you'd finally admit that it's a trifle, we would...
So, did you find it?
I did, Master Bailiff. Here it is.
Not so loud. Show it here. That's it. And now go back to your job.
Next, you'll want me to serve wine to
I'm
everyone
sorry.
for free, too.
Why not? In Jerome Nas's earthly paradise, everything would be free.
Don't put words in my mouth.
Gentlemen, let's agree to disagree. What if the king heard us?
I got word that Rutard has
I'm
pulled off
sorry.
another deed.
That's nothing unusual. That old weasel will never accept that the city isn't run his way. At least until His Majesty honors us with his visit. And as we
fancy
know,
some Tokai.
Gunslin
Refill, boy.
absolutely hates him.
He can hate all he wants, as long as he does no damage.
Colorblind.
Ulrich, what have you got
White.
to say about it?
Me? Well, I'm not sure what you're implying.
I'm speaking about the Rutard incident. You were there, weren't you?
Good, sir.
That's just a small misunderstanding.
Well,
We've
thank
sorted
the
it out
Lord.
and everything's settled.
My ears must be deceiving me. Are you defending Rutard? Besides, if his men attacked yours, as I've heard,
Boy,
then we have a
I'd
good
like
reason
some
to
white.
punish him.
What happened there? Leave nothing out.
I don't like Ruthard, true, but in this case it really was nothing.
Everyone in the city gossiped about it.
Sir?
I heard there were several dead.
Did you? That's
Thank you,
grossly
waiter.
exaggerated. I don't think Ruthard will cause any trouble. He is sensible enough not to draw attention to himself while the king is here.
That's true. Because if we don't do something about him, the king himself will put an end to him, and soon.
Unless he puts an end to us first.
Hey, waiter.
No,
Pour me
what
some
he wants
Tokai.
to tell us.
If nothing
apologize,
happens,
sir.
there's no point in
Which
dwelling
one?
on it.
White
Let's move
top
on.
high.
I'm sorry, Andreas, but I wouldn't brush it off so quickly. Why do I have the feeling you're not telling us the whole truth, Ulrich?
Good,
Are
sir.
you accusing me of lying?
Those are strong words,
Well,
my
thank
friend.
you.
Nobody said anything like that, did they?
Then why doesn't he tell us what really happened?
I'm not keeping anything from you, but there's little truth to the rumors circulating around the town. Yes, Ruthard and I had a little disagreement, but we ended it quickly because his daughter wanted to get involved. I didn't want to expose the girl to any unpleasant sights.
So Ruthard is hiding behind his own daughter's skirts.
As if it wasn't enough that he sent his son to die defending the city.
All right. If we really don't have anything new to say, let's turn the page.
Things have got out of order in the town. Some adventurers decided to take the law into their own hands and restore the tradition of duels. It's not only barbaric, but also illegal. If we tolerate this, the rabble in the city will go wild and do whatever they want. I suspect the gentleman from the city's sword-fighting school brought this custom
Waiter,
to us.
get
It's
me
now
right.
run by the German Menhard. Who knows who that fellow is?
Don't be ridiculous, Forsucker. You act like you've never been in a fight yourself.
Sir?
And to accuse a swordsmaster without a shred
Don't
of
hang
proof.
around me. Vanish,
We're
you
not
hear
some
me?
old fishwives in the marketplace.
So
As you
you will
wish.
just leave it be?
Sir
Proven
Ulrich.
offences
Go,
are punished
go.
by the
I don't
bailiff.
want to see you
And
again.
that's that. There are more pressing
boy,
matters to deal
a
with.
word.
More pressing than the open contempt of the whole
Refill,
town
sir.
garrison.
Do you think I come to the
guards
council
are
just to
apparently
guzzle
settling
wine?
accounts that-
What can I help you with, sir?
I left my gloves in the chapel. I took them off to pray, but then I rushed here and forgot to take them. I can't just get up and walk out now. But if you disappear for a little while,
My words exactly.
All right.
Town council is
I'll get them.
I knew I could count on you. While you're at it, count how many figures on the mural have wings.
But why?
Because I'm bored, and because I told you. Get on with it.
of customers.
Ah, to hell with it. We'll never get anywhere like this. Why waste our time?
That was easy enough. And he wanted me to count the winged figures.
So, let's see what you've got for me.
I found your gloves, sir.
Really? Let's see them. And did you count those winged figures?
I counted 16, sir.
And did you count all the monsters and animals?
Oh, I thought you meant only the angels.
Go back to serving wine, blockhead.
There's the eternal dispute over the cathedrals. The building of the church is dragging on, and in the meantime, they are calling diocesan pilgrimages to settlers, right under our noses. It's just a
Hey,
village with
waiter!
a monastery,
Pour me
and they are
some
going
Tokai.
to Mokarol mining city. Why can't we build faster? Hire more craftsmen, start with night shifts.
Haven't you noticed there's a war going on? Are the experts
Sir?
from far off supposed to work in a city under siege?
Besides,
You, lad!
I get the
You
feeling
look
there's
familiar
something
to
other
me.
than the welfare of the
Have we
city
met?
behind your complaints.
Well, naturally.
I do. Do you?
I go to your tavern almost
And
every
what
day.
would that
Really?
be?
Like, for
Then
instance...
you must have decent wages to be able to visit the best tavern in town
So what
regularly.
if I would?
Hold your horses, gentlemen. That space in the side nave is mine.
Then hell freezes over, mein Freund. Your place is at least 2 steps behind mine.
A swordsmith dares to insult me?
Tokai!
I
And a
think
full
not.
cup!
Excuse me?
Careful.
You wanted to buy yourself an altar in the cathedral.
I apologize,
Just
sir.
like you bought yourself a
Which
seat
way?
in this council.
Tokai!
How
Wait!
dare you?
Are you
I
deaf?
acquired my seat for the services our guild provided and still provides to the crown.
Well, I hope you're not
Sir?
supplying equipment to the army. If that's all they have,
Good.
they would be
Now run
defeated
on.
by that bunch of ne'er-do-wells from the alehouse on Hopbrink.
What ne'er-do-wells?
Those wrestlers of theirs, of course. People from the whole town go to watch them brawl.
Oh, this is
You
news
there,
to me.
lad.
Because
a cup
it
of
has
red.
all been
And don't you
sorted
skimp
out.
on me.
Not long ago, the guards raided and threw them all out.
Ah, yes, I had forgotten. What do we have to discuss next?
Come now, waiter. I wanted red.
Sir?
Thank you, waiter.
I'm telling you, something is being planned.
Oh, I doubt it. No one's gonna tackle Rootard.
Azon al-Juchek Ase, Alegiop Katonaikat, Ishkelkinek Utra.
You have nothing to fear. Not you.
And like this band of fights!
Come now, father. Put a little life into your dying. Seen more cheerful priests at funerals.
I'd rather be at one than here. I hoped I'd never see this fortress again in my life.
Unpleasant memories?
You have no idea. I didn't part ways with my father on entirely good terms. 20 years ago.
And now you're 2 decades older and wiser. At your Ujit's parish, you spread the word of God to your flock, and you saved my neck and Henry's too. I'd say your father should be proud of you.
None of that matters a damn to him.
Who knows? Maybe that 20 years has changed a thing or two.
You know what? Let's drop the subject.
Do you know any of the guests here?
Most of them I'm seeing for the first time in my life. It's a pretty varied company. We've had bandits, nobles, burghers, a priest, and even a rabbi coming together here. It's like the start of some joke.
Wait a moment. Rabbi, you say? The Kuttenberg rabbi?
Yeah. He came with a retinue. But for now, they keep him mostly to themselves. Maybe you should go and welcome some of them. After all, this used to be your home. And you're a spiritual man too, so you should have something in common.
I wouldn't be too sure. But I suppose I can try. Who's that French fellow you brought here from Malashov?
The great Baron Brabant. Been everywhere, knows everything, and has the keys to half the kingdom. He's got more fairy tales than my old nanny.
Can he be trusted?
He's a blabbermouth, but a harmless one. Besides, he defended Kuttenberg, and you know how that went. If he were on Sigismund's side, he'd hardly have been locked up with me.
How does it feel to breathe free air again?
What can I say? You can never truly appreciate freedom until someone locks you up for a while.
Or until you become a priest.
No fear of that in my case. I intend to enjoy life to the full. Wine, women, and song.
What do you plan to do now you're a free man again?
What do you think? Get drunk, woo one of the local wenches, and wake up in the morning with no hose and a head like a church bell.
Have you perchance forgotten we're supposed to be deciding the future of the kingdom here?
I'll leave that to the older and wiser. And duller.
Dear me. I'd rather creep off into some corner with a full wineskin. But I suppose I'll have to introduce myself to the rest of the guests, eh?
Indeed you should. After all, you are one of the lords of Rabosh.
Oh, don't start with that. I'd like to steer clear of the old man as long as I can.
In that case, you should sound out Radzig and Hanush and find out what they're actually planning.
Such rare guests. One wouldn't expect to find among Christians representatives of your community. I'm Godwin. My greetings to you.
Peace be with you. Neither would one expect a priest here. And yet...
How do you know I'm a priest?
It's not difficult to tell. After all, we have much in common. And we are both a little on unfamiliar ground here. I'm Yehuda, leader of the rabbinical court in the sacred community of Kuttenberg. And this is Samuel, my aide.
Who would rather not be here at all. Why did we have to come here, Sadie? Can you not see everyone is staring at us?
Because we all need to help each other in this time of need. And why would they not stare when you are frowning so?
Are you here to arrange some trade?
We have more serious matters to attend to here than gaining a few groschen. The situation in the town and the kingdom is unsustainable. The whole land is on the brink of destruction. You have men and weapons. We have the means to sustain them.
Why are you telling this to a Koimer? You wanted to deliver what we brought to the Margrave and quickly leave.
Everything in good time, Samuel. We have just arrived, after all.
Did you come to lend money to the lords?
Not to lend, but to give. Help given to the needy is repaid only by God.
You don't even know if you can trust them. With that money, we could have paid mercenaries ourselves.
You remind me of my young friend Henry. He's a bit of a hothead too.
Henry? That messenger of Radzik Copula?
You know each other. You're both around the same age.
That would be him. But we did not get off to a very good start.
Henry's done a few things I'd like to give him a slap or two for. But like they say, to err is human. For a young stripling, he's been through plenty. It's not so long since his parents were killed in Skalitz. He was supposed to become a blacksmith, and instead, he's roaming the world, risking his neck at every turn.
Wait, a blacksmith, you say? From Skalitz?
Aye, that's right. Did you know anyone there?
I knew of someone. A blacksmith by the name of Martin.
My daughter knew him most, and that is why Samuel is in this world. For our numerous sins.
Maybe he was my father, but he certainly didn't act like one. Ma raised me on her own.
And that was all for the best.
Why? He should have taken care of me, but instead he fathered another bastard.
Don't make hasty judgments. As far as I know, Martin didn't have any other children. At least, none of his own. He took in Henry, and raised him as his own, on the orders of the Lord of Skalitz, Sir Radzik Copula, Henry's real father.
I don't care if he took care of 20 other mamsas.
That boy's blood father denied him, just like yours did to you.
A person can't choose their parents. And Henry only found out about it recently.
Enough. I'd rather have a drink. Will you have one too, Zayde?
For that, there will be more suitable times.
Good health.
L'chaim.
This fella can give the king a lot of trouble. And who would entrust him without a court and a noble house? All he is a band of mangy bandits. York is right. We must grit our teeth and wait for Sigismund to run out of money.
That's how it'll end eventually. Everyone will realize you can't wage war without coin.
I'm glad you finally accepted my invitation.
I
I almost
same to you.
lost all hope.
It's not that I didn't want to, but understand that my absence from the city council would have serious consequences.
I understand. I appreciate your coming here all the more.
I'll have to justify myself before the council and come up with some reasonable explanation.
We'll think of something. Maybe you can say you were investigating a conspiracy against the crown.
I was thinking something like that as well. And in truth, I wanted to discuss this with you.
I'm listening.
I've come into possession of evidence against Anna of Waldstein.
Of course. Half the city can't stand the sight of Bartosz's widow.
And rightly so. She spends Bartosz's money on food and wine. She acts all pious and sighs in church like she's moved by the sermon. But she should do some reading on intemperance.
You're confusing crime with sin, my friend. And when you get a taste of my wine, maybe you'll sin too.
I have enough evidence to charge her. She's in cahoots with that scum from the Jewish quarter.
Be careful with your words.
Hey!
Haven't
Where's
you
that
noticed
beer?
the rabbi is in the main hall?
How could I not notice him? A strange fellow, I tell you. And that companion of his. Hellfire burns in his eyes.
I've been wondering myself what they're doing here. but back to Anna. What are you planning?
I want to present this evidence to the council as a way of deflecting any suspicions. And it'll also serve your cause well. Anna is drawing unnecessary attention to herself, which could really invite a lot of trouble for you.
If you think so, I hope we're not nurturing any more vipers in our bosom.
Only time will tell. As long as it's just talk, food and drink, you have allies aplenty. But when push comes to shove and someone loses their property, their position, or the roof over their head...
Tell me something I don't know. Every one of them is afraid what happened to Ruthard in Malashov will happen to them.
They congratulate themselves that the king took his wrath out on him, and they got away. For now.
And that's why we need to act and decide how to proceed together.
Good health to you, sir. I'm Godwin, a friend of that lad you arrived with, Henry. We don't know each other.
Baron Vauquelin Brabant, Chevalier d'Arezzo. The last of my line. I am a warrior, a traveler, a strategist, and also, à ma manière, a poet.
My word. Isn't that exhausting?
Mais non! And I'm glad to meet a new friend.
It's a pleasure to make your acquaintance, Baron. I knew right away we'd hit it off. How did you end up imprisoned in Malashov?
Ah, c'est une histoire compliquée. It was after I heroically led the defense of Gothenburg, and only lost it narrowly by an unfortunate turn of events.
That needs some explanation. What unfortunate turn of events?
Oh, misère. It is clear you have never been to war.
So, be so kind as to enlighten me.
When they broke through the defense, I ended up in captivity. It was only due to my acquaintances in a court that I escaped execution.
Oh? I thought it was Henry who saved your neck.
My neck was not at risk in Malashov. I may have still been a prisoner with my personal freedom restricted, but they never broke my spirit.
You say you're a poet? How about a verse or two to amuse us?
Jamais. Is poetry nothing but a farce to you? Is a poet a gesture for amusement? I think not. To recite, I require the proper mood. And besides, few here would understand me.
Where have you been on your travels? Have you seen the ocean?
But of course! I was born by the sea. If you are interested in my greatest journeys, then I have traveled with a merchant caravan all the way to the Ottoman Empire. And if you are interested in my greatest deed, then that was perhaps saving the life of the King of France.
And you wouldn't by any chance know the Pope, personally?
Which one do you mean? I spoke briefly with Boniface IX when I was sojourning in Rome. A pleasant fellow.
How come almost nobody here knows you?
I am operating, as they say. Incognito. My great benefit is my strong connection with the French court. There, everyone knows my name. Here in Bohemia, I'm still building my reputation, slowly, but surely.
Dear friends and allies, in these troublesome times, you all know why we're here. The question remains, what to do next? Sigismund is facing troubles in Hungary, and here, too, he is up against resistance. He's a capable strategist, but a poor diplomat. Mark my words. If we wait him out until winter, he will leave of his own accord.
By winter, he'll have torched all our fortresses and carried off everything that we possess.
Are we seriously gonna wait and cower in a corner? Or are we gonna drive them out in shame? A few well-planned raids and we could have him in our fists!
At what price? Have you got men to spare? Has any of you got men and money to spare?
We don't have men out there.
Yes, we do.
We do not.
Jobst is right. That horse son won't fall easily.
Only we can't wait.
Are we to get ourselves killed?
Or end with nothing?
Friends, we'll get nowhere like this. Let's adjourn ourselves and try to think it through.
Well, that went just as expected. Good health.
And to yours. Could it have gone any other way when there's so many of us here?
I would have expected a bit more sense from Jobst, of all people. He made an amateur's mistake. But it's hard to be angry with him when he's trying to ingratiate himself with everyone. By the way, I'm John of Liechtenstein. And you must be Godwin, the son of...
That's not a thing I've ever boasted of. How do you know that?
I have my sources. From what I've heard about you, I'd judge you could be quite useful to me at today's gathering.
Is that so?
Indeed. And that's why I'd like to ask something of you.
It depends what it's all about.
A little delicate diplomacy. I expect we can agree that Jobst's plan has certain shortcomings.
That's a weak word.
And the way it stands at the moment, he'll never get the support of the council. But I have an idea how to change that.
Well, I'm curious how you hope to shut Zizka up and satisfy the ones who want peace.
We'll sit and wait quietly until Sigismund withdraws of his own volition, as Jobst proposes, but we'll be waiting in the military camp of our huge new army.
If Sigismund decides to mount an attack on the camp, it'd be a massacre.
Ah, but it won't. Sigismund's army is demoralized and weakened. And besides, he's running out of resources. He's able to tackle fortresses that aren't able to defend themselves, but he won't engage an equal force on the battlefield.
But he can't retreat either. That would be a disgrace.
And that's exactly why we'll wait until he's called back to Hungary by events there. For the plan to work, we need allies, their money and their determination. We've already set the ground for it. We just need negotiators who will push the right people in the right direction.
Are you saying you set everything in motion even before Jobst?
More like in parallel, but without his knowledge. If we find support and make it look like the whole thing was his idea, we'll all win.
Why are you doing all this anyway?
Because I want to put a stop to the senseless deaths. And also because I'm happier with Wenceslas on the Bohemian throne.
You've got an interesting way of approaching things.
You're certainly not the first to tell me that. I take it as a compliment.
I'll help you. What exactly should I do?
I'll give you 3 names. Botchek of Kunstadt, Haman Alder, and Anna of Waldstein. If you can get those 3 on our side, we've won the day. Meanwhile, I'll take care of Jobst.
What if it doesn't work?
I refuse to even consider that outcome, because it would mean slow but certain defeat for all of us.
Why me, of all people?
Because you've got a head on your shoulders. You know how to talk, and you're not just out for your own good. You and your friend Henry are similar in that respect. That's why I know I can count on you both. There aren't many like you two left.
Tell me a bit more about those people, so I know who I'm dealing with.
Certainly. Who do you want to start with?
Bocek of Kunststadt. I know the name, but I can't quite place him.
That's just the thing. He's got massive estates, great influence, but he holds back. He doesn't play the big game, because he doesn't like to take risks. He always goes for the sure thing. But once he's made his mind up, not even a pair of oxen will hold him back.
Alder the Alderman. Wasn't he a Kuttenberg councillor?
He still is. The only one who retained his position after the city was taken. Only he's here, instead of cozying up with Sigismund in Kuttenberg. So his days in the council are numbered. But he'll continue to have a strong influence on the guilds and the rich burghers. And that's why we need him.
Anna of Waldstein. The widow of that rich mine owner. What was his name?
Wenzel Bartosz. And I'm not surprised you forgot.
I was quite surprised to see her here. Assemblies like this are more of a...
A male affair? So far, Godwin, so far. Anna is holding back and behaving like an exemplary young widow. But don't trust appearances. She's got claws, she knows how to do her sums, and she certainly has no love lost for Sigismund.
And what use can she be to us? Apart from her late husband's money, of course.
She's as sharp as they come when it comes to trade. And she knows a thing or two about diplomacy. There are wicked tongues that claim Bartosz acquired most of his wealth thanks to her, and that it was thanks to her that he died, too.
I'll get on it then. Wish me luck.
I wish us both luck. Before the day is over, the die will be cast.
Success to our plans.
I'll tell you, nobody has the likes of these.
Not even Bocek?
Not even Bocek, and he's a great lord.
That's hard to believe.
What?
I'd like to check your horses out and see if they're as good as you say.
Pah, even better. But you won't believe it until you see for yourself.
And you might not believe your eyes when you do see them. Well, well, we have a new guest.
I wanted to...
You wanted to apologize for crashing into my home without it by your leave. Or to arrest my guests some more?
I want to have a word with Alder.
Well, I'm having a word with you.
I apologize, Father.
For interrupting our conversation? Or just for being you?
Is that your...
Unfortunately. Speak up then. What are you doing here?
I came with a delegation from Sir Hanush of Lipa.
Is this a joke?
Why so strict, Martin?
20 years ago, he was nothing but a cheeky brat, only interested in wenches and booze. I got him a place at the Archbishopry to have some sense beaten into his head. Only it wasn't long before they kicked him out. And then I find out he's settled in some backwater parish in Sassau. But he took his boozing and whoring along with him, lost everything, and then came creeping home again. Huh?
Try saying it again a little louder. They might not have heard you in the outer courtyard.
You have the impertinence to show me your face after the way you disgraced our whole family?
Hey, where's that beer?
I wouldn't set foot here if I had a choice. Better to be a priest in some backwater than have a father like you.
How dare you?
You're as shit a father as I am a son. We've got nothing to blame each other for. And now let me speak to Alder.
You're dishonoring your host.
I can't dishonor someone who has no honor. If you had any, you'd be...
That's enough.
Christopher.
You won't get away with those insults. I challenge you to a duel.
I'm not happy about it, but I accept. This isn't how I imagined my first meeting with my brother.
Make room for us. We'll just settle a very private matter. It's an honorable duel, man against man. Stay back.
Smile, you fuck! You've still got... What's wrong with your legs?
Who taught you that?
Left arm lower! Stand firm! Otherwise the first strike will put you on your arse!
Did they teach you that in the seminary?
You don't know which end of that thing is up!
Who taught you that?
Just like it does. Turn and no mercy! Look in my eye, not at my sword.
Not bad for a priest.
Just like in Kosovo. Charge and no mercy! Cover your right side! You've got to get there and drive a cart through!
You never saw that coming. Did they teach you that in the seminary?
With your whole arm, not just your wrist. Just like in Kosovo. Charge and no mercy!
Sacre! You're fast.
Sum quique tribue!
Did they teach you that in the seminary? Sacre! You're fast.
Si te ponieres non va
Enough.
certis.
That will do. My God. Where did you learn to wield a sword like that? Father always said you were a good-for-nothing boozer. But you could teach sword fighting in a school.
I was in a war. Right after they kicked me out of the archbishopric. And you ought to know yourself. Not all the faults that Father sees are real.
Aye. Well, I apologize for going off like that. I had to, so that...
So Father would be satisfied. I know. Only he'll never be satisfied. The sooner you realize that, the better.
I thought he was the way he was because his first son let him down. And he hoped at least his second would become something.
And no luck again, eh? When I was 6 years old, I fell off a horse and broke my leg. He wouldn't talk to me for a week because I'd let him down.
The first time he took me hunting, he let me starve for 3 days until I was able to shoot my first hare.
Only 3 days. He got soft.
I always wondered who you were. There was never much talk about you at home.
Look, I really did fuck up everything I could. I brawled and boozed until they threw me out of my own parish. But now, I have a chance to put things to rights a little.
And that's why you want to talk to Alder.
Aye. The outcome of this war depends on it.
That sounds very important, considering you and Alder are both pretty small players. After your encounter with Father, it won't be easy to get to Alder. Actually, I don't think you should even attempt it. Unless you want to anger Father even more.
What else can I do, though?
I'll talk to him myself. He'll hear me out for sure. But you'll have to trust me and tell me what it's all about.
All right, then. You've heard Yob's plan, right? It's a nice idea, but we can't wait around without an army to back us up.
Only no one's going to pay for one, because that would be an outright admission of rebelling against Sigismund.
Alder's got some clout with the councillors and burghers who are loyal to Sigismund. If he agrees, they'll follow.
I expect Alder's not the only one you're after.
You got that right.
Leave Alder to me. The plan sounds sensible, and he's no fool.
I don't know how to thank you.
You can drag me to a tavern sometime. Pa doesn't need to know about it.
You're starting to sound like a brother.
Godwin, you wouldn't be avoiding me. We didn't have much time for conversation on the way here. Let's rectify that.
With pleasure, sir. As it happens, there's something I'd like to ask you. What are you expecting from today's gathering, my lord?
Well, I have no great expectations. But, all going well, we may be able to establish some joint steps towards the future. As long as we proceed without prior agreement and mutual support, we will be very unlikely to achieve any progress.
I couldn't help but notice your son has a bit of a talent for getting into trouble.
To put it mildly, but not to do him an injustice, knowing young Lord Capon, he undoubtedly contributed to that more than a little. Although, if they didn't pull each other out of trouble, God knows where they'd be now.
Wise words. Still, Henry's come a long way on a thorny path. I trust you're rightfully proud of him.
You know, I am. And Martin would also be glad, even though Henry chose a different path than he.
May God grant him eternal rest. Where did you leave Sir Divish? Surely he's not too old to miss out on such an event.
Haven't you heard? Lady Stephanie is with child. No one even imagined Divish would produce an heir at his age.
As they say, doesn't matter who kneaded the dough, as long as there's a pie in the oven.
Godwin.
Well, it could be a miracle. Praise the Lord! May I have a word with you, sir?
You? Anytime. With you, at least, there's some sensible conversation. Unlike this pack of conceited upstarts.
Have you got something against the Kuttenberg nobles?
Their forefathers lived up to their ears in dung. But thanks to the royal mines, they were born with silver spoons up their asses. And they think that can turn their blood blue.
But surely they're not all like that. And they are our allies.
Allies or not, someone ought to show them their place.
Young Lord Capon is finally free again. Let's hope he'll take better care of himself now.
He got a harsh lesson. But at least he might remember to lay off that tomfoolery of his for a while. But if not, war will make a man of him soon enough.
Do you think there's really going to be a war? I mean a proper one, not just sitting around and talking about it.
I sincerely hope so. Whoever sits around risks nothing. It's time to get off our asses and take action.
What do you think about Jobst?
Are you testing me? Jobst called this assembly and he wants things to turn out well. We have to trust him.
To turn out well for whose benefit, though? Some are up to their elbows in silver and blood, so others can live in freedom.
Better make sure you're among the latter, then. And in the meanwhile, help the former to keep their losses to a minimum. Take a look at that. A nightingale surrounded by hawks.
It's quite unusual to see him fall.
And exactly why we mustn't push too hard.
Burghers, patricians and usurers. They're without...
Christ be praised. We're trying to forge an alliance against our common enemy.
They're trying to do one thing and one thing only. Line their pockets.
They remember well how the burghers in Moravia fared in the last war.
They were on the wrong side. And wasn't it the lords of Kunstadt who got the most out of it?
You said it yourself. It was war back then. Now we're allies.
Allies? Aren't we more concerned about the spoils of war, Sir Botchek?
I beg your pardon?
Another war wouldn't suit you so well.
Because of the likes of you and Hennick the Dry Devil.
Now you can't stand the sight of us. But we were good enough to do the dirty work for you.
Didn't you get paid? The rest of it isn't my problem, Shishka.
I didn't come here to argue with another Kunstadt. Dry Devil is enough.
You two sound like an old married couple. You argue all the time, but you couldn't live without each other. And he hasn't even greeted his own cousin yet. Tell me, what did Hennick ever do for his house?
He certainly doesn't sully its name by conspiring with the merchants. A knight ought to fight out of conviction, not for profit.
He who has nothing can lose nothing. Eh, Lord Trotsnov?
Just you wait. The likes of Rutard and Alder will certainly find some use for your silver.
Taking their time again. Sir Bocek, I need to speak with you for a moment.
A man hardly puts his cup to his lips and someone comes along to put a flea in his ear. Yobs comes up with a plan as full of holes as a beggar's shoes, and now you're all jostling to win me over for him.
On the contrary, I've come here with an idea how to improve it.
Does that improvement include a few thousand men-at-arms? If not, you can go to the devil with it.
A few thousand men-at-arms as a convincing argument. And 100 horsemen on top. Only in order to get them, we need coin.
You've got my attention, but not my money yet.
Are we not on the same side?
We are, but an alliance is of no use if it doesn't also guarantee safety.
Of course. Once it comes to protecting property, ideals go out the window.
You can talk, since you haven't got a pot to piss in yourself. If you were in my position, you'd think differently. I have a lot of property, lots of subjects to look after, and along with that, the Lord blessed me with a large family. I can't risk it all in a conflict with Sigismund.
So you need guarantees that you won't be left standing in the cold if you openly oppose Sigismund?
My guarantee is called Yitka. She's my niece. If I succeeded in marrying her off to another strong house, I'll have the certainty that I won't be left alone.
Maybe it's enough to find a suitable groom among the allies.
Perhaps someone of suitable standing who Yitka would also gladly accept. I don't want her to be unhappy.
I believe Liechtenstein is single.
And an uncertain party. Besides, he's inconvenient for Sigismund. Yitka could end up being a pawn to blackmail both of us.
I'd be honored to oblige. I'm in my prime.
Forget about it. Even if by some miracle you could manage to sire children, you'd die before you could raise them.
The truth doesn't offend, my lord. But I had to give it a try. How about young Lord Capon?
He's a youngster still.
What's the hold up? Am I supposed to open my mouth and wait for it
What's wrong with him? He's young, he's handsome, women are fighting over him. Yitka will like him, and he'll give her a whole bunch of children.
And to half the wenches in his domain too, eh? On the other hand, the Lords of Lipa have a good reputation, and Hanush can always be relied on, despite his temper. Maybe it's not such a bad idea.
So, will you support our plan?
You're selling the skin of a boar that's still grunting. First, I want a confirmation that the wedding will take place, as soon as possible.
And what if Lord Capon refuses?
I don't care what the young lord thinks. Hanush is the one to decide. If he agrees, I'll be happy to support your plan.
Pushing a friend to tie the knot to save the kingdom. Things have come to a pretty pass.
The kingdom will not forget his sacrifice. Now stop dilly-dallying and go and tell Hanush.
Sir Hanush, I bring happy tidings.
You do? Let's hear it then.
Young Lord Capon is going to get married.
If he's got some impoverished noble's daughter pregnant, I'll have his hide. I'm not going to support some bastard.
You misunderstood my meaning. I was the one who arranged the betrothal. I mean, with your blessing.
You arranged a marriage for my ward? Just like that? With who?
With the niece of Sir Bushek, Lord of Kunstadt. Her name's Yidka.
Bushek of Kunstadt? The Bushek of Kunstadt? Godwin, you conniving old bastard!
Oh, fuck.
I don't believe it. So, young Hans is to marry Kunstadt's daughter?
Niece.
If you're serious, I'll make sure that you get the Rattay parish.
Or you could make me the abbot of Sassa. Or what about a bishopric?
Forget it. Soon I'll be paying for a wedding. Not a word to Hans. I want to tell him myself. But let's drink to it, shall we?
Cheers!
Cheers to you, and to your parleying skills.
How are you getting on so far?
Aside from the happy family reunion, everything is going according to plan. Thanks for asking.
I'd almost forgotten about that little detail. But fortunately, it wasn't too much of a fuss.
Father is getting old. There were times when he could keep yelling at me half the day.
Keep it up. We've still got a lot of work to do. Just don't overdo it with the wine. No one takes a walking wineskin seriously.
I've got some good news and some bad news for you.
The bad news is there's hardly any females in this whole damned place. There's some old bat standing there with 2 young girls, but she watches over them like a mother hen. So at least tell me the good news.
Actually, never mind.
At least the wine here is decent. Cheers!
To your health. God be with you, noble lady. There's something I'd like to ask of you.
God be with you. What would that be?
Your diplomatic support. And your money.
No beating around the bush, eh? I like that. But what do you want my money for?
Margrave Yob's plan has some gaps, milady. We need to gather enough resources to...
To muster an army that Margrave can't afford on his own?
Christ. Be praised. You're astute.
I should say so. All sorts of people have their eyes on my money, and divining their intentions is a necessity. Although, between the two of us, it isn't hard to figure out what Liechtenstein is after.
How do you know Liechtenstein is behind it?
I know most of the people here very well. Many of them certainly have doubts about the Margrave's plans. But they wouldn't dream of stating them aloud. While it seems that Lord Liechtenstein, on the contrary, sees his opportunity.
I'd say you have a better nose for people than most of this crowd.
Not only for people, but also for good food and wine. And beneficial deals.
Then you're in the right place. This occasion provides all of those things.
The wine here is average. The cooks lack imagination. And I have yet to hear any interesting offers. So, to the point. What is it that Liechtenstein wants from me?
Nothing more than support and resources for an army to parley more effectively with Sigismund.
Nothing more? I'd say that's plenty. And why ask me for help? Why should I, of all people, take the risk?
You manage large estates. In return for your generosity, we offer you protection.
I've managed quite well up to now, taking care of my own resources. If you want me to support you, you must give me a good reason. Perhaps a favor in return.
Do you have something in particular in mind?
Well, one of the guests here has something that shouldn't get into the wrong hands.
Who's that?
Harmon Alder. Now, if you were to switch these papers for the ones he brought with him, I would support your proposal.
And the papers I'm supposed to plant on Alder?
Just insignificant documents. If the incriminating ones disappeared without a trace, it would arouse suspicion.
Have you fallen out with the Town Councillor?
No. Alder is innocent in the matter. My relatives from the House of Bartosz are behind it all. They're disappointed that I dared outlive my husband, and the fact that I'm handling his estates makes their hair stand on end.
And these papers I'm supposed to switch, what do they concern?
My relatives somehow dug up some trade contracts between myself and certain undesirable parties.
You were dealing with the enemy.
They were not the enemy at the time. My conscience is clear, but I'll rest easier when those papers are in my hands.
I'm supposed to rob an ally.
Harmon Alder was given the documents to deliver to the council. He hasn't yet had a chance to look at them, so he won't even notice the difference.
All right, I'll help you. Or at least I'll give it a try.
Alder will surely have the papers in his saddlebags, which he left in the shed on the outer courtyard. Bring them to me, and put these there instead. But watch yourself. Odorim's groom has eyes everywhere.
Everything all right? You look a bit out of sorts.
I can't wait for it to end so we can get out of here.
I reckon you'd have to be pretty brave to come and mingle with the Kuttenberg lords.
Or pretty pissed off.
Or that.
We will leave as soon as we can. Anyway, all of these worthy gentlemen will be relieved when we are out of sight.
Would you tell me something about your community? I haven't found out much so far.
What can I tell you? It was never exactly glorious. And now especially, everyone is quaking that what is still left to us will be taken away.
Surely it won't be that bad.
There are many fools who would rather take out their gall on us and start to fight among themselves. In times of uncertainty, it is always the sons of Israel who are the first to be stricken.
Sir Kunzlin, I haven't yet had the pleasure.
You're Godwin, aren't you? I've heard about you from Martin.
Oh dear.
Have no fear. I know Martin well, and I know he's prone to exaggeration. Anything I can do for you?
Will you support Margrave Jobst's plan?
That depends on what it is. If he decides to just wait, then no. I can't take that risk any longer.
Do you think we should look for help somewhere else?
I came here for one reason alone. To hear a plan of attack against Sigismund. If Jobst doesn't lay one out before me, I'll try and find someone more courageous.
I expect you know Lady Anna of Waldstein well.
Why wouldn't I? She's joined at the hip with my daughter Rosa.
I hope she doesn't feel unwelcome here. I've heard she's a bit of a thorn in the side for some of the gents here.
To her own relatives, certainly. But I'll tell you one thing. I knew her husband, Wenzel, and he married her out of love. And I cared for him devotedly till the day he died. And it wasn't a quick death.
So it's not true what they say? That his demise was convenient for her?
Vile slander. People just can't forgive her for coming into a fortune as a young widow.
What do you think of the rabbi's offer? The Kuttenberg Jewish community is large, and their support could change everything.
Or nothing. To be honest, I've no idea what to expect of the rabbi's offer.
He said he was interested in an alliance, though, didn't he?
Aye, but still he must be aware that whatever happens, it won't change the lot of his people.
So you don't trust him?
And isn't it natural? It's not just fate and the walls of their quarter that separates us. They live in our city, but they're more foreign than the Germans or the Hungarians. God be with you.
Exactly why we mustn't put you...
Zabocek, your niece Yitka can start preparing for her wedding.
So Hanush agreed, without reservations.
Indeed.
Then I will fulfill my end of the bargain without reservation.
Thank you, Lord of Kunstad.
Enough formality. We'll have a drink. What do you say?
Cheers to the beautiful Lady Yitka and the unhappy Lord Caitlin.
Here's to a good bargain.
You are a real...
Puked all over my face.
Take a look at that.
Greetings. What do you need?
Aren't you a bit bored?
What's your problem? The horses are fed and watered. I'm not idle.
God forbid. But standing around here must be a pain in the arse, no? You might get thirsty.
Not really. What of it?
Shall we roll some dice? I'm sure you can take a little breather, eh?
Well, all right. But just for a little while. I'll wait at the table over there.
Decisive action. We can no longer afford to wait.
As if I didn't have enough on my plate already. Like my war, I can't
I've got those papers from Alder for you.
Quiet! You don't have to announce it to everyone.
My lady, with all the clamor going on here, I can hardly hear my own thoughts. Here they are.
You're more capable than I expected. Thanks for the help.
You're welcome. And now you're part of the bargain.
As agreed. I will support Liechtenstein's proposal with both words and money.
Thank you, noble lady. God will...
Yes, quite. But let's drink to our bargain, Godwin.
How could I refuse a toast with such a fine lady? To your health, Lady Anna.
And to the success of our efforts.
Gentlemen, I think we can raise our goblets to the successful conclusion of the negotiations.
Is this supposed to be your secret weapon?
Like I said, miracles happen where you least expect them. Tell me, Godwin of the House of Odorin, what news do you bring us?
I bring nothing from the House of Odorin. But the widow of Waldstein and Sir Bocek of Kunstad will support our cause.
Both of them? Good heavens, what did you promise them?
This is going to be a long story, and I could use a drink. So if you'll excuse me, my lords?
It would seem that we have all benefited from the break in these proceedings. New alliances have been formed. And I have also changed my plans. We shall still wait for Sigismund to withdraw his troops of his own accord, but we will wait with an army at our backs.
Yes! And how are we to raise an army? Wasn't it made clear at the meeting that no one wants to take the risk?
The only thing made clear was that each of us alone is weak, and that we could not find common ground. But that has now changed.
King Wenceslas is, by the will of God, the Balbatim of all his subjects. Not only the Christians, our community, and not only ours, will give you coin.
Yes! The Kuttenberg houses are still loyal to King Wenceslaus, and we stand with Lord Ruthard.
And if that's not enough, the houses of Leipa and Kunstadt will unite and march side by side.
My niece, Yitka, will take young Lord Capon as her husband.
Lords Kunstadt, Hanush, Radzig, and I will set out immediately. God willing, we will be back within 3 weeks, along with an army.
Now those are words worthy of a nobleman.
My friend, I still believe that words are more powerful than swords. And our words will ring in 1,000 voices to the glory of King Wenceslas.
After we conquered the city, you promised to restore order immediately. And then I find out things are even more disordered than before.
Your Majesty, we are sorry. We will put it to rights.
You've already said that. I want to hear real solutions.
We will put more guards on the roads and toughen penalties. We can have a few captured bandits executed as an example to others.
We do not care about bandits. We care about rebellious nobles and burghers. What will you do with them? How will you solve the chaos in the town administration, the rebellious miners, and the dismal yields? And how is it even possible that a rebellion against the king is smoldering here in the city?
What do you mean, sire?
I hear the resistance is coming from the Jewish quarter, from right under your noses. Why haven't you done anything?
We don't know who is behind this. Without evidence, we cannot punish them.
Otto von Berghoff did not ask questions in Prague either. He acted. And I advise you to do the same. Find a couple of wretches in a hole somewhere, point them to the Jewish quarter, and give them free rein to do anything. The city's Jewish community was and still is on Wenceslas' side. They need a warning.
We do not even have enough men to...
Marquardt, could you spare a few men for a while?
Of course, sire. I'll assign them to Eric. He'll take care of it.
So you see, All you have to do is make sure the city rabble get their share. You could at least manage that, couldn't you? And if the thought should cross your minds that you would get rid of the debts to the Jewish moneylanders this way, forget about it. Your debts will remain, up to the last groschen. Only now you owe us directly. And while we are on the subject of money, has the yield from the mines finally matched last year's?
Sire, the deposits are dwindling, and mining is becoming increasingly difficult. And to make matters worse, the miners started rebelling.
Don't take us for a fool. They'll stop rebelling when you pay them proper wages.
Your Majesty, we can't do that.
Silence! How dare you oppose the kingdom's protector? You're a bunch of incompetent sycophants! Chicken shits! Not any better than the scum hiding in the forest.
I apologize, sire. I'll do everything in my power to...
All I hear from you over and over again are excuses and prevarication. And results? None. I therefore placed the city council under the authority of Sir Marquardt von Aulitz, who is present here, with immediate effect. He will make sure you finally do your duty.
But, sire, that would be a violation of the privileges granted to us as a free mining town.
Silence! I am the only guarantor of your rights. You have to earn your privileges, not hide behind them. During my brother's reign, this idleness was perhaps tolerated. But that is over now. You were given a few simple tasks. But instead of working on them, you idled in the baths and lined your pockets. And let the traitors cast their nets undisturbed. But unlike my brother, I am capable of creating order. And I assure you, I do not distinguish between those who stand in my way. Be they beggars, noblemen, or city councillors. You have 2 weeks to restore order in the city and increase mining output. I want clear results, and you answer only to me and Sir Marquardt von Aulitz now. No one else. The council is dismissed. You, don't go anywhere, boy. Be so kind and remain here. Our throat has become rather dry. And we still wish to speak with our friend von Aulitz.
Yes, sire. As you wish, sire.
Between the two of us, Marquardt, was I not perhaps too harsh on them? And speak candidly. We have had enough of false flattery.
Sire, you were harsh, rightfully so. These councillors, they need to be shown their place. You suffered their insolence for far too long.
Hey, waiter!
And the same is
Keep
true.
your distance.
We know. Otto repeated to us several times that it is time to strike against them. We are glad he's not here. He would be intolerably self-satisfied if he knew we had heeded him.
Boy, can't you see the king's cup is empty?
You tend to us as if we were infirm. Boy, pour us a monastic wine. The monks had a good year. We have concerns, friend. The Hungarians are rebelling. Our army is falling apart, and we have enemies here on all sides. Would we had a proper army instead of human mercenaries? They cannot be relied upon. And we are no closer to our goal now than a few months ago.
You don't. Can't you tell white from red?
Well, no matter. At least the Takai will remind us of our home. If our father were still alive, he would have been astonished by the mess that a few years of Wenceslas' reign brought us. With a single word, he would have put the nobility in their place, and the country would flourish. God grant him eternal glory.
We won't need much more time. We'll arrest the traitor Odorin, and the rest will fall in line.
You say the others will be brought into line, but what do you know of them? We know only a few of them. But there's a fortress standing on every damn... Between the two of us, Margaret, was I not perhaps too harsh on them? And speak candidly, we have had enough of false flattery.
Sire, you were harsh, but rightfully so. These counselors, they need to be shown their place. You suffered their insolence for far too long. And the same is true of the Jews.
We know. Otto repeated to us several times that it is time to strike against them. We are glad he's not here. He would be intolerably self-satisfied if he knew we had heeded him.
Boy, can't you see the king's cup is empty?
You tend to ask as if we were far. Boy, pour us a monastic wine. The monks had a good year. We have concerns, friend. The Hungarians are rebelling. Our army is falling apart, and we have enemies here on all sides. Would we had a proper army instead of human mercenaries? They cannot be relied upon. And we are no closer to our goal now than a few months ago. Thank you. It is a good year. If our father were still alive, he would have been astonished by the mess that a few years of Wenceslaus' reign brought to us. With a single word, he would have put the nobility in their place, and the country would flourish. God grant him eternal glory.
We won't need much more time. We'll arrest the traitor Odorin, and the rest will fall in line.
You say the others will be brought into line, but what do you know of them? We know only a few of them. But there's a fortress standing on every damn hill here. What side are their lords on?
We'll find out soon enough, sir.
If only Wenceslas were not such a stubborn ass, and relinquished that throne that he has no use for anyway. The nobility, on the other hand, found a ruler like him very useful. They made a puppet out of him.
Once you restore order, they'll join you. All you have to do is promise them the privileges they lost during Wenceslas' reign.
First, they'd have to be willing to make peace at least among themselves. Jobst does everything he can to sow chaos, so that he himself emerges victorious in the end. This business makes me thirsty. Pour me some of that red, boy.
I think Jobst is just waiting for the right moment. He'll switch sides when it suits him.
Maybe. But first I'll have to conquer a few more cities, and get a couple more lords on my side. Then they take the threat of war seriously. And Hungary. If Bohemia is a wasp nest, then Hungary is a viper's lair.
You will follow in his footsteps, sire, as soon as you get the chance.
But the wine is good here. To your health, Margaret. And to your health too, boy. May your children grow in a land ruled by a good king. You did a good job, waiter. You can be proud of yourself.
To your health, Your Majesty.
First, we need to crack down on the biggest troublemakers.
We're working on it. While the consul was meeting, Otto von Berghoff and his men set out for Rabosch. Odorin won't give you any more trouble.
He and Ruthard are in it together. Once we get Odorin, we can handle Ruthard easily. Rabosch will be yours. After all, Otto has already got Malishov.
I appreciate your confidence, sire.
But the devil knows there are a lot more strongholds to conquer here.
For the king, red wine, boy.
No, we shall have white. We have had enough of red.
White it is. Quickly! If Rabosch falls, others will follow.
I think von Berghoff's little contraption will find its use again.
If need be, we could use it to raise this town hall too. And I have some suggestions for other candidates.
Not so fast, my friend. It's a wondrous tool, but we can't rely on it forever.
But to bring it here to the square and point it at the city hall? Those sycophants would only benefit from a warning like that.
It's a splendid idea, but it won't be necessary. The councillors are quite fearful enough already that they can hide nothing from us.
There's been enough fretting, sire. You shall see. Soon we will drink to the conquest of another fortress.
You are right. So then, to victory. And you, boy, will you drink with us? So that you shall have something to tell your children and grandchildren.
To victory, sire.
To today's, and those of the future.
Damn it. Your name is unpronounceable. Vauquelin Brabant. Chevalier d'Arezzo. I bet you made it all up anyway. I will just call you Brabant.
Excuse-moi. I thought the French court knows me by that name.
Well, you're not in France now. Here, nobody knows you.
But that is about to change. The defense of Kuttenberg was just beginning.
Ah, quite a farcical beginning.
Give me 100 knights in full armor, and I will clear my name. I will charge the enemy with cavalry, break through their lines, and capture Sigismund himself.
And then you will wake up in a ditch somewhere with a mighty hangover.
I am not drunk. At the French court, I drank many under the table. Even the notorious...
Be quiet. You are as drunk as a fiddler.
I am. Not. Oh putain.
Baron Voku. Damn it. Your name is unpronounceable. Vauquelin Brabant. Chevalier d'Arezzo. I bet you made it all up anyway. I will just call you
Excuse-moi. I thought the French court knows me by that name.
Well, you're not in France now. Here.
How would you like a wine, Chevalier?
The art of winemaking has a long tradition in La Belle France. Recipes are passed on from father to son, and each generation brings them to perfection. I myself was practically raised on wine. How many I have tasted. Even the French royal court took note of my refined taste. The king himself had wine delivered for his table according to my advice.
I expect his lordship had the best barrels rolled out. Now, if he'd only known he had a real connoisseur here.
Best barrels! Mon ami, this wine would perhaps be suited to the infirmary, where it would suffice for cleaning wounds and easing pain. For that, the taste is of little consequence. Give me 100 knights in full armor, and
I will clear my name.
Didn't end up like that poor sod over there.
I'm filled with
Tempora mutantur et nos mutamur inis.
You in need of something, my wild friend?
I'd like to drink a toast with you to our joint success. As they say, all's well that ends well. So, to brighter tomorrows.
Touching.
Come now. What's become of your poetic soul?
I never had one.
Truly? Not even a little?
Well, maybe once. The older I get, the worse it is. Give me a few more years and I'll become a professional mourner.
See now. I'll gladly drink to that with you. Only there's nothing to drink. We've run dry.
Fuck. I've got a tongue like a slice of weak old bread after all that gabbing.
Well, get something wet for us then.
His lordship is so unsteady on his legs, he can't make it as far as the keg.
To hell with that keg slop. Your father surely has something better stored away. I had my eye on him all evening. He had pictures brought from somewhere for himself and his closest friends, and left the rest of us to drink cheap dregs. Try and find one of those pictures for us, eh? I'm sure you can manage that.
You can bet on it. I've got a nose for booze.
I don't doubt it. Get sniffing quick.
Whatever. They got by without us so far. They'll be fine. We were used to that anyway. You're right. I don't know about you, but I can barely stand.
Don't talk about Lady Anna like that in front of me.
Yeah, well, don't you understand? Kunstad doesn't care enough about our plan to get his
The class of Gutenberg was just the beginning.
Quite a farcical beginning.
Give me 100 nights in 4 hours. And
I swear to God, I saw him here a little while ago. He was sneaking around with the widow of Bartok.
Whatever. They got by without us so far.
Ah, strong words. I thought your Alishka was brown-haired, though.
Come on. Someone will see us.
Fucking Sigismund, you twat. I love my Alicia.
Come here. All right, all right.
Holy God, Holy Mighty One, Holy Immortal One, have mercy on us. O Angel of Christ, Holy
Let's
Guardian
drink
and
to
protector
that.
of my soul and body, forgive me every transgression which I have committed this day, and deliver me from every craft of my enemy and adversary. May I not anger my God by any sin. O Lord,
What does it matter? We reached an agreement, but it's going to take time to raise an army. Until then, Sigismund...
What a night.
But when it comes to affairs of state, when those two girls came by carrying
They're trying to agree on something they won't remember in the morning.
Sorry, have you got some time to spare?
From cleaning up this pigsty? Any time.
I need help with something. Do you know where I might be able to find the wine pitchers? I mean the ones with the really good wine that the Lord saves for his nearest and dearest.
And you're one of those?
It's not for me. I'm just supposed to bring the wine to one of the distinguished guests.
I see. And if it evaporates on the way, it won't be your doing, eh? Anyway, I don't know nothing about no wine. In case you haven't noticed, I'm sweeping the floor, and I'm about to mop up vomit. Try asking my ma. She's the cook here.
I've come to rescue you from work and responsibilities.
Really? Why don't you save that sweet talk and tell me what you want?
Well, it occurred to me we could maybe spend a little time together.
Of course. What else? Do you play dice?
You mean strip dice?
You strip if you like. Either way, you'll end up bare-arsed and with an empty purse.
All right. Let's have a game.
I'm curious to see you play. Let it be now. I want to play too, you know. Well, you're not afraid of anything.
And why would he do that? If he was so craven as to run away from the first army that crossed his path, he would never have made it all the way here.
Have you lost your mind? You're going to lose everything.
You're living in a dream world. It's only going to be a scarecrow to keep Sigismund from murdering the lords one by one. If an open battle breaks out, then we are fucking bloodbath.
Now I'll show you how it's done. There, that turned out all right. Oh, come on!
Everyone's being too hopeful. You're talking bollocks. Once the officer raises an army, he'll sit himself and
What a disaster again!
Why would he do that? If he was so craven as to run away from the first army that crossed his path, he would never have made it all the way here.
Well, this won't be just any army.
Greetings. Can't it wait till morning?
Sorry, I don't want to interrupt, but are you busy?
What do you think? A fortress full of hungry mouths and half of them noble lords accustomed to all kinds of debauchery.
I haven't eaten so well in a long time. Lord Odoran was fortunate in his choice of cook.
He didn't have to choose me. My old ma spent her whole life in this kitchen, and my grandmother before her. God rest them both.
Wait, you're Kvieta's daughter, Madlenka.
It's been a long time since anyone has called me by that name. I was afraid you'd forgotten me.
You haven't changed at all.
But I have. And you've changed too. You left a haughty young pup, and now you return...
An old dog.
Not at all. The years have been kind to you.
And how have you been all this time? Did my father give you a hard time?
Not really. When he remarried and had another son, his mood improved quite a bit. I also got married. And soon I had my little Elishka running around under my feet in the kitchen. Young Sir Christopher used to come and play with her sometimes. He was always a very nice lad.
Tell me more about Elishka.
She's a big girl now. She's a maid here for now, but I'm sure they'll find her a better job soon.
Well, aren't you worried about her? A young girl doesn't have it easy in life.
Even as a little girl, she used to beat up the boys in the village. I put up with all sorts of things without a peep, but not her.
And your husband?
Kuba? He died when Elishka was just a baby. He got bitten by a dog, and the wound festered. It was quick.
God grant him eternal life. Why don't we go somewhere together? Somewhere private. And reminisce about the old days.
You really haven't changed at all. You ought go and have a drink and stop chasing girls. I mean, it's embarrassing at your age.
Where might I find the really good wine here?
Why? You don't like the stuff from the kegs?
It's not for me. One of the distinguished guests asked for it.
Aha. If you go down the cellar stairs, you'll see the pictures lined up on the table. It's Lord Odorin's best. He's drunk plenty of it himself today.
I've got some warm wood downstairs.
Everybody likes a drop of white. The rat'll be good, I hope.
Now there's a piece of horseflesh for you, Rootard. Not like that nag of yours.
What the hell do you feed it with? It looks more like a damn bull.
Sir! Sir! There's some horsemen right out front of your fortress.
Ah, that's Peter of Pisac. Wouldn't come to the council, but he is coming happily to the celebration, you old fox.
Come on in, sir. There's wine aplenty.
Hey! Hey! Intruders! Enemies at the gates! Seize the nobles! Kill the rest!
Jesus! The surrounding Christopher! He can't make it on his own!
I'll be done with you in
You
flat.
talked about sweetly! He's done for!
One step back!
It's
Stand
a wonder
your
you're still
ground.
standing! Come on, man! Those fancy moves!
He'll hang us to pieces! No.
Cover your head! Nice hit! Yes! Blood! Yeah!
Hey, lad!
Let him have it!
Help me! He wounded me badly!
He lights him up!
Shit! He got me!
Kill him! You got him! For God's will! God! That won't work on me!
Gun here, horse. That was a close shave.
A little too close. Oh, fuck me. Did my eyes deceive me? Henry!
Godwin!
How did you get...
Damn. I can't tell you how happy I am to see you. You turned up at just the right moment.
Is everyone alright?
Well, some are, some aren't.
They captured Odorin, Kunstad and Rutard. And they took Alder and Kunrad of Vector away too.
They wanted to slay the rest like dogs.
What about my father? And Hanush?
They left with Yobs long before that. I'm sure they're all right, but... not everyone was so lucky.
Where did they go? Back to Rattay?
They've got to raise an army for us. And I hope they fucking hurry.
So we have a plan to counter Sigismund?
More of a promise than a plan.
But, as you can see, our allies are getting scarce. We should lay low until Jobst gets back.
I'll gladly play dead for a while. Be so kind. And don't speak of the dead.
What happened, Godwin? Who died?
Anna of Waldstein. She didn't stand a chance against those butchers. May she rest in peace.
She was simply in the wrong place at the wrong time.
And they almost killed my brother. But only almost. Good luck.
What do you mean, almost? What happened?
I got there in time to help him, fortunately. Christopher tried to defend our father, but nearly lost his life doing it. For nothing.
Old grievances aside, Odorin is an ally, the same as Rutard and Botchek.
Well, they all have their quirks. Cousin Botchek's a money-grabbing magpie. But I wouldn't give up on the fucker either. We'll have to wait for the other side's move anyway. We don't even know where von Berghow took them.
I tried to come as soon as possible and warn you, but von Bergov's people beat me here.
You knew he was coming.
Markvart bragged about it to Sigismund, and Sigismund promised to make him Lord of Raborsh in return.
When he sees what von Berghow did with it, he'll shit himself.
You find that funny? Do you like watching those foreigner dogs rampaging around and slaughtering innocents? Who else has to die before we do something about it?
Tell us about it. We were neck deep in corpses before you bothered to turn up.
Well, not you.
Fuck you, Jan. I'd trade places with you in a heartbeat. Trust me.
We've lost a lot of allies. We'll have trouble finding new ones. They'll be afraid to even peep against Sigismund.
Well, are you surprised? Look around. Sigismund showed everyone what's coming for all who resist him.
You want to give up now? Nobody said anything about giving up. We'll treat the wounded, bury the dead, get the hell out of here. Then we'll hide in the Devil's Den and wait for Jobst and his army.
If I survive the journey... Oh, God's teeth. That stupid nag nearly broke me in half.
The king announced one more thing at the council. He asked the councillors to ransack the Jewish quarter. That is, he ordered it, more like.
Fuck! Liechtenstein's got his people there. They could reveal a lot.
The city rabbi is sitting upstairs in the hall. At least he's safe here.
They're our allies. We have to help them.
What do you mean by we? Everyone here is lucky to be still breathing. I can just see them all jumping to their feet and rush to save their poor Jews.
Maybe Samuel will figure something out. He wanted to talk to you anyway.
He's here too?
Aye, escorting the rabbi. You should go and see them as soon as possible. And tell Liechtenstein too.
Anyway, we've got work to do. Godwin?
Give me a moment. I'll go and see Christopher first. Guard the walls until morning. If anyone shows up, I want to know.
Good to see you both. Alive.
Oh, come on. You know, I've walked out of much worse scrapes laughing.
They could well have killed us all. If it hadn't been for you, Henry, von Berkhoff could have caused a lot more harm.
Von Aulitz surprised even Sigismund with that. You should have seen the look on the king's face when he told him.
Well, thank God we all survived.
Well, not all of us. They killed Lady Anna of Volstein and many other nobles. It was slaughter.
And they captured our closest and most influential allies. Without them, we can hardly get the burghers on our side. We're stuck.
We'll figure out a way to help them.
But how? Our plans are ruined.
Get a grip. Whining doesn't help anyone.
You're right. When I drink too much wine, I get overwhelmed with self-pity. Nevertheless, I have to admit it can't get much worse.
Actually, it might. And very soon. At Sigismund's council, an order was given to ransack the Jewish quarter.
God's wounds! We need to get back to the city and warn them.
I'm going with you.
Out of the question. Do you want to end up imprisoned again? You'll be more useful if you stay here and help Shishka. Henry, tell Samuel and the rabbi to get ready to travel. I'll try to get someone else to join.
Well, at least it was overthrown. No, we almost took pinnacle.
That dry devil is as tough as old boots. If a horse fell on me, I wouldn't get up again.
One Constable captured, the other almost crushed. What have they done that the Lord is punishing them like this?
God's punishment or not, they brought it upon themselves. Watch him. He's as greedy as a pig. Nevis. Well,
Leave it alone, the two of you. Now we're in it, anyway.
All right. Dirty.
well, at least it was overthrown. No, you almost took pinnacle.
What about your horse?
if the old lord doesn't come back?
Then we'll have a young one. He's not a little boy anymore. Soon he'll get married and have a bunch of children.
We can only hope.
Should not come here.
You did. But I still insist that it was necessary.
What have we gained? We could easily have ended up lying dead out.
Young Sir Christopher gave me all our gratitude to those who helped us survive.
It is enough that you gave them our money.
Another tower?
No. But what would happen to Mommy if neither of us returned?
The community would take care of her.
Just like it took care of me?
Do not start with that.
Sam, I need to have a word with you.
Uh-huh. That makes two of us.
Just tell him. You may not get another chance.
I talked to Godwin. He said you know each other?
What did he talk about? Me?
We talked about your stepfather, Martin.
Why? Neither of you knew him.
It's true, I did not. But I tried many times. Remember how I stared at your sword when we first met? I recognized the Master's symbol engraved there. Well, the thing is, I am Martin's son.
What? Pa's son? How did...
Yes, his son. That is, his bastard son.
Are you sure? We look the same age, and Martin lived with me and Ma as long as I can remember.
When I was born, he was already long gone. Maybe we are not even a year apart.
And what does that make us then?
Nothing. Proof perhaps that both your god and mine have a sense of humor. You know, all my life, I thought if I did not give a shit about that man, it would be easier. But now that I know I will never see him, it troubles me that I did not get to know him.
I can tell you about him if you want. But now is not the right time. This is not the end. We have to go to Kuttenberg, now. Sigismund ordered confiscation of the property of people in the Jewish quarter.
The king has approved Xere.
He's no king to me. He's a fucking whoreson.
What's a Gezerah?
That is hard to explain.
Nonsense. It is as clear as day. Christians set out to kill our people. Innocent and often defenseless. Ransack their houses and divide the loot. And all that with the king's blessing.
This is what we were afraid of. But we did not expect Sigismund to be in such a hurry. We need to get back into the city and get the people out, quick, before it begins. Will you come with us, Henry? Every man counts.
I'll come. And Liechtenstein already knows about it too.
Very well. We should get going right away.
I'll be back soon.
Hurry up. Please.